All right. Ryan, you got one more segment we want to do?
I wanted to talk about, we talked about some AEW and some WWE stuff. Let's talk about some guys that have left WWE either by their own accord or were fired that are in other companies or even independently that we see had the highest chance of coming back to WWE. Because I feel like
Or
now
staying
with
away.
what?
Or staying away and
Or
making the
staying away forever and making a name for themselves. Yeah, like let's talk about some of the recent ones from the last couple of years. If what are the chances they come back? And and we'll just talk about, what are they doing now? Is it better than what they were doing in WWE? Or did you prefer them in WWE? Because I know there's a lot of guys in AEW, but there's also guys in Impact. There's some independent people. Like, they're all over the place. So I feel like it's a cool cut off topic because it's always a hot topic when people get fired and or
Yeah.
released or quit. And so we've seen it, and it's trendy because we've seen it come back. Sean Spears just came back. So it's kind of trendy to talk about these guys coming back. So
All right. Where do you
let's
want to start with?
let's talk with probably the guy that gets talked about a lot. Let's talk with Malachi Black. Was fired years ago. Um, at a point where he was just about to start a feud with Big E, and then he was fired, which was just fantastic. Like couldn't have planned it better. Uh, um, and now he's in AEW, barely on TV, getting a wrestle every once in a while, stuck in a 6-man. What are your thoughts? Do you think he comes back? And do you like him better away from WWE? Which I think I know the answer to that.
I think this is one guy on this list that absolutely is coming back because he is a Triple H guy. The only reason he got fired is because of Vince McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure if he wouldn't have signed this stupid 3-4 year deal or whatever he signed, he'd already be back in WWE at this point. Uh, Probably leading this group with Killer Cross, honestly, or Karrion Cross. But yeah, I see him coming back. Another person in his group,
Yep.
Buddy Murphy, his girlfriend, his fiance or whatever, is in WWE.
Yeah, well, Aleister Black's wife's there too, so
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense that both of these guys are coming back
yeah.
at some point.
I mean, Andrade came back, so I mean, I just feel like it makes more sense to be where your girlfriend is. Speaking of girlfriends, Matt Cardona. What are your thoughts?
Mhm.
He's always said he did an interview with Chris Van Vliet, and he said Zack Ryder is dead and will never return. But could we see a Matt Cardona in
I don't know where he fits in.
that? Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, I like the guy, but I don't know if where he what he would do.
Nobody, I mean, you don't see him as a main event guy. I don't feel like Matt Cardona is going to come back to be in the Intercontinental title scene again.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I
I don't.
think, I just don't think it's in the cards for him to come back.
I mean,
Now, he is changing independent wrestling. So this
yeah,
is the one thing I wanted to talk about. Some guys don't have to come back.
no,
They could leave and make the wrestling world a better place for other people. Like it could be a thing where if you leave, you don't have to come back. And Matt Cardona is one of those guys. I think he showed that you can be on the independents, never truly sign with anybody.
yeah.
He's signed like per appearance deals, but he's never actually been a member of any roster. And you can do it your own way. And he's done that, and he's made a living out of it for the last 5 years.
He's
So
he's done it the way that he wanted to do it, and he's probably making more money now than he ever did in WWE. So,
yeah. Uh, Also on that topic, Ryan, what do you think about Mustafa Ali?
fresh. This one's a fresh one.
Yeah.
Honestly, no, I don't see him ever coming back. I think he has got a sour taste in his mouth with WWE. Yeah, I know sometimes that things change, but I think the whole time he was there, he was underutilized. He was
Mm-hmm.
underlooked, and or overlooked, I guess. I think, yeah, I just don't see him ever going back. I think now that he's made a name for himself, he's a WWE guy now. Like he can do what Matt Cardona is doing, kind of carve his own path out. I know he's in Impact,
He's
but
the
I
X
don't know.
Division champion.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's there like full time. But this is his first like major championship he's ever won. That Impact, that X Division title. So I don't know. Matt is, yeah, I just don't see Moss stuff all the way coming back.
Yeah,
I think that bridge has been burned with WWE. And I know
yeah.
they can always come back, but there's always where he fit in. The same with Cardona. Like I don't see a spot for him in WWE.
Well, another person that is in Impact right now and New Japan too is Dolph Ziggler,
Nick Nemeth.
and he's currently won a belt in New Japan Wrestling, which I did not expect to see that happen. He's the global champion, right? Basically the belt that it replaced the Intercontinental and the United States title.
Hasn't that belt already had like 3 champions?
No, this is the first. This is the second.
He
The
beat
second.
he beat Finley, right?
Yeah, David Finlay. It's the second champ. Second holder.
Uh, yeah, I don't see him coming back.
No,
Maybe for
I
like
don't know.
a one-off or something, maybe. But like he's getting up there in age, and I think he wanted to leave a long time ago, and they just kept bringing him back. They just kept like re-signing him, and he was probably like whatever. But I don't. I think he probably wanted to leave.
I think he should have left. I think he should have left a long time ago, and then made a name and then come back. You know.
Yeah. I mean,
Instead, yeah, like you said, it's a little too late for that. So I don't see him coming back, and maybe for a Hall of Fame or something. Maybe if he gets in there, like
man, that's a topic there that I don't know. We could really, but I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, he's not coming back. I'm kind of bummed because I thought maybe because he's a good wrestler.
He's great,
and he really showed some stuff in his younger days. And I thought maybe he would be different when he left and like make some new moves. And nope, he's just Dolph Ziggler with a different name, and kind of bums me out, honestly. I was hoping for something a little better.
He's been that Dolph Ziggler for 15 years.
Yeah,
and that's why he never got more in WWE. Was he just the same guy?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. It's to the point now where he just stand up. He's the new host of like Busted Open Radio. And yeah, he's got so much going on. I just don't see him ever coming back, unless, like you said, maybe for a Hall of Fame or when he's winding down, he'll come back and do like a one match or something.
What about Matt Riddle, Ryan?
Matt Riddle's a guy that could come back. I feel like not anytime soon, but I don't feel like he really left on bad terms. I think WWE released him for like his sake. I feel like
yeah.
I don't think it was like, we hate you. It was just like something like he had all this personal shit going on, and I think he's a guy that I've heard some interviews that he's done, and he don't have any. He understood it, so it's not like he's got any ill will towards WWE or anything. I could see him coming back in a few years.
But he's old.
Yeah, I know. Well, Shelton Benjamin came back.
Okay.
Yeah, he's up there, but I could see him coming back. I don't see any reason why. It didn't seem like there was like bad blood or anything. So I think it'd just be up. We'll give it a couple years, and maybe he'll be cleaner than he is now.
It could be. He needs to quit hanging out with strippers, that's for sure.
He's married to like a porn star.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Ryan, who else has been released? Not just recently, but
What about the Iconics?
Yes.
Now, one of them is pregnant right now, but they are both moms now, which may. But what about
their career ended way too soon.
I feel like there's a chance. They're both still super young. Like, they're both still in their 20s, I'm pretty sure.
If not early 30s.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're both still in their 20s, which is like they still got plenty of time. You know, let their kids grow up a little bit. But I mean, you look, that doesn't stop anybody now. Becky's a mom, you know.
Especially when they establish this women's tag team division the
Yeah.
way they have, and it's like, man, they'd be perfect.
Yep. Yeah, they were awesome. I was a huge fan of the Iconics, and I really hope they come back at some point.
And it only ended because Vince McMahon wanted one of them to he hated tag teams.
I know.
Even the women's tag teams. He hated tag teams, and he wanted Peyton Royce to be the top, you know, and it's just like, man, it just that wasn't in the cards for this kid.
Some tag teams just do not need to be broken up.
Yeah.
Some people are just destined to be in tag teams forever, and that's fine. These were two of them. They were supposed to be tag team forever. That was it. They never worked as single stars, and they would have been the cornerstone of the women's tag team division forever. And it didn't work out. And I hope they come back. I really do, because that'd be great to hear that Iconic again. Loved it, man. They were so good. They weren't the best wrestlers, but they could talk. They were funny. They were good characters. They were a good tag team. I mean,
so you think wrestlers, Ryan? Do you think there'll be a trend in the future where WWE wrestlers leave and they don't come back? Like they because there's more places to go. Maybe they can establish some smaller companies, make them bigger, and there's just because the thing is, if wrestling can get it, because for a long time wrestling had a stigma.
Mm-hmm.
It had a stigma back in the day, way back in the day, and then later on when WWE was the only show in town,
Mm-hmm.
It had this stigma that if it wasn't WWE, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
And they wasn't going to do any numbers on TV. But now, wrestling's got a resurgence. There's so many good wrestlers.
It's crazy, yeah.
So many good talents. And if these smaller companies like MLW and NWA, if they took a chance and signed these guys and girls, if they signed these bigger names and really went for it and created these shows that are can't miss, that I'm telling you, man, with all these streaming services, if we do go down that route with all these streaming services, you can see a lot of these guys from WWE, because I mean it's overloaded in WWE right now with talent.
Yeah.
And not everybody can be on TV. And if people leave, maybe they don't come back. They start, go to these streaming services. We'll have like fucking MLW.
Well, I mean, NWA is on a streaming service now.
Yeah.
So they're already on one. WWE's going to one. And AEW wants to go on one. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of talent out there that's unsigned right now that are former WWE talent or guys that are, and the more places to work, the better. And yeah, I mean, they could look at Matt Cardona as a stat. And like, you don't need to be back in WWE to be big in this business. Now, I mean, there's so many, and you don't even need to sign with anybody to be big in this business. You can be a free agent and be making more money, doing more dates than you ever did before. So I could see it. I could see the trend going there where it's like, okay, I don't need to go back. Before it was, yeah, I got to get back. Like Drew McIntyre, Christian, they all left and came back because they had to. It was the only place to make money. But now, yeah, you can go out and be your own thing and do your own stuff, and I can see a trend. I can see it happening. And I think it's going to start happening with most of the names we listed. Like the only ones I can see going back are the ones that want to go back for personal reasons,
right?
Like now, Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy, just to be there with their wives and girlfriends.
Yeah, like some people make sense, but like I still, I think we're heading down that road, man.
And that's great, and I'm all for it.
Yeah,
I'm all for anyone getting the chance to be on TV or on a streaming service and get their name out there. More, like I said, wrestling is awesome. That's why we're doing this podcast. That's why we all watch it, because there's something for everybody, and there's somewhere now. I mean, shit, you got all these companies now, and you got all these smaller companies that are growing, like DPW and like
or GCW,
and you've got all these, and they've got streaming services and they've got online presences, and so like they can go there. I mean, I I don't know. I mean, then you got people like Mandy Rose, who isn't even in the wrestling, and Lacey Evans, who aren't even in the wrestling business, but because of wrestling, now they've got OnlyFans pages and they're making probably way more money now than they ever have. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't even have to leave. You don't have to go back to WWE. You can go back to do your own thing outside of wrestling. So,
Right.
yeah, you know, I think people sometimes, like Lacey Evans, basically confirmed is she was never in it for wrestling. She didn't like, but it gave her a name now, and now everything she's got is because of WWE. And some people do that. They know they can get a following in WWE and then leave WWE and never wrestle again, which I don't see Lacey Evans ever. I don't think Mandy Rose is wrestling again.
Yeah, probably not.
So, but yeah, tides I think are definitely changing because now it's not WWE's not the only horse in town. There's plenty of other places to go. There's plenty of other companies out there, even overseas now, with Mexico and Japan and all of them gaining more stuff. I mean, it's insane right now in wrestling, and all these guys, even Top Dollar found another place to work. So
Yeah.
no shade on Top Dollar, but
Yeah. All right. I think that's going to do it for this podcast, Ryan.
Thank you very much for listening to this episode of Squared Circle Speak. Next week, we got a gigantic week of videos for you here on YouTube. We're going to be talking WWE. We're going to be talking AEW. We're also going to be doing a retro WrestleMania review. We're going to be giving our WrestleMania predictions, and we will be fantasy booking a 2024 King of the Ring, what we would like to see happen if a King of the Ring happened this week. All of that and much more coming next week right here on Squared Circle Speak on YouTube. Remember, you can listen to the full podcast Monday morning on Spotify, and then videos every single day here on YouTube. Thank you for listening to this one. Hope you have a great weekend. Thank you so much. And as always, body slam that subscribe button, punch that like button in the face, and remember to always kick out at 2.